I was lucky I grew up in a rural setting, much like we're sitting right now. I always say that I was kind of a weird kid. I would go out into the alfalfa field, oddly, in the winter. I would mimic pulling sleds. My mother wanted me to keep reading, and so she would find books with stories of adventure, and I fell upon adventure stories of the polar regions, venturing off into the hinterland, where no one has ever been before. And I was hooked, which is sort of what I was pretending to do in the alfalfa fields and in the woods. I interviewed for a place on the North Pole team in 1985, and I traveled with 7 men and 49 male dogs from the top of Canada to the top of the world. And so I've been able to now travel with my expeditions, not just in the polar regions, but all over the world. But the thing about a polar explorer or an adventurer, we always come home.
Legendary polar explorer Ann Bancroft partnered with the Minnesota Land Trust and Washington County to permanently protect over 100 acres of land surrounding her home near the St. Croix River.
What I do on my land is pretty simple. We either ski or we walk every day. There are so many different animals. I see that tiny little feather that's just nestled into the grass, and a new species of plants that pop up. My favorite species is probably the otter. I'm really hoping that the beaver flourish. I'm constantly monitoring their houses and what they're chewing, like it or not. I pinch myself every day, every time I walk. It's a logical step to want to pass that on. And what you can pass on is the protection of this precious place.
A conservation easement protects your land forever. You still own it. You can hunt on it, fish on it, take strolls through the evening light on it. And for many people, there are financial benefits involved.
If you put it in relationship to my expeditions, that I've been privileged enough to see so much of the world, both urban and wild, and I see it diminishing. I am near the Twin Cities, so to have unpaved, unbuilt landscapes, I think is really important for the water quality, for refuge for different species.
Ann's property sits right between several protected public lands. Together, that's about 3,000 acres, creating a corridor so animals can move freely between the properties.
I love this partnership. I'm not in it alone. For a loner, that's a big statement for me. When I think about having achieved preserving this property forever, it makes me immensely happy that it's always going to be here, doing its thing.
Ann took a bold step to protect her property, and she's not alone. The Minnesota Land Trust has worked with hundreds of landowners across the state to protect their property.
I hope the land is happy. In short, do it. There's no downside to protecting your land. Call them up and start the talk.
The Minnesota Land Trust can help you find options to protect your land. Connect with us today to learn more and find out if your property qualifies for one of our grant-funded protection programs.